So this is a satellite facility. There's some weights here, you guys. Let's set this first one up like with the edge of the canopy, just so it's more visible. Pretty interesting day here. Welcome to our back of house, truly. This is our up and coming warehouse. I would say it's 90% move-in ready right now. To you, 90% might look still like a ways to go, but to me, it's just at this point almost finishing touches. This half has had the least amount of work done to it. It's been actively storing flour for us since we took on this building many months ago. This has been a huge help on our entire season because we don't have this kind of space in the bakery. So it's either figure out how to get flour into the basement of Main Street Harvest in Mesa, or have this place, and this is a lot more convenient to roll the pallets off the truck and just set them out. We will have the ability to stack too high here. We have a few finishing touches, just raising these lights a little, and then basically sealing the floor, adding some rubber baseboards. And so we'll be able to actually fit 30 pallets right on this wall here, and then we'll have a couple more racking systems here, which in terms of just standard pallets, could fit another 16. We will be sharing this space with Main Street Harvest dry storage, so I imagine that this area will be back stock in goods. And it's a really neat facility. It's the whole reason really that this entire complex was appealing to me between the back and the front retail space, because this space was just right. It's not a very tall warehouse, so it's not useful to a lot of true warehousing companies that wish to stack, 4 levels of pallets. And it's just enough for us. It's pretty inexpensive real estate, and for what we wish to do with it, it's extremely valuable. We have carved out this cavity here. It's got old reach-in fridges, which are currently not even turned on. We haven't really been needing them, but this cavity is not designed for fridges, just happens to be a convenient place to store them. It will be a walk-in freezer, and everything related to it is ready for the walk-in freezer. So that's already been ordered. They come in with their ready-to-go panels, and they basically lock them together in a matter of hours. They slap the condenser on the roof, and it's done. The electrical's been run. There's drainage that's ready for the condenser unit in here. Basically one morning, and we'll have a walk-in freezer. The entire frame and preparation work is done. That used to just be a bathroom, and the bathroom here got reoriented a little bit in order to make space for some of these other features like the cavity for the freezer. You might recognize this door. In fact, if you look at a lot of our videos, I'm certain that you could pinpoint this door. It's from the garage. This little whiteboard here is some strange reminder of basically our last few days operating the garage bakery. And basically we just took these doors from there and installed them here. In fact, that's one of the 10% of the work left to do. We need to line this foam insulation with proper commercial FRP. We have these boards ready here. And this is basically like a washable surface. You'll see it throughout the rest of the facility. And I'm standing in what will be our proofing box here. Well, in this case, we're using the exact same design as in downtown Mesa, except it's done at a better value. For instance, reusing these doors, but also lining the inside with this FRP instead of a complete stainless steel box, which we have in downtown Mesa. And the goal of this room is for it to be 84 degrees and 80% humid. We will hang a freezer coil. It has heaters on the back of it. We'll fashion a pan underneath that freezer coil with a float valve. So there's a water hookup there, there's drain, and there's power in the room ready to go. The heaters are typically in a walk-in freezer used for defrosting the freezer. In this case, the heaters are basically being used to heat this space while blowing the humid air that's from that water pan below the coil. So we have the same setup in downtown Mesa, and it's interesting to see all the iterations because we started with boiling pots of water. That moved to portable personal space heaters and humidifiers underneath speed racks. And then we actually built the foam insulated rooms in our garage, which we used space heaters and humidifiers in order to proof in there with PID controllers. Moved to downtown Mesa and we did the whole similar iteration of this, but this room for us to build cost like 1/5 of the cost of the downtown Mesa proofer, given that it's in a back warehouse and is not something that's, you know, a centerpiece of the open concept bakery. Really, we're completely fine finishing it this way. And it will be able to proof 12 speed racks of pastry at a time, which is plenty to feed what this facility is all about. So I'm mostly excited about this facility as you get back here. It's a pretty large cavity that's currently filled with some retired equipment that needs repair and even some equipment that hasn't been deployed yet, mostly refrigeration equipment for Main Street Harvest. That stuff's either going to get sold or repaired. We will fill this cavity with a walk-in fridge. Same concept, we already have power ready, we already have drain lines ready. All that needs to happen is a walk-in fridge. It's larger than our fridge in downtown Mesa, whereas the proofer is smaller. And all of that is somewhat intentional. It's a really interesting interplay because we'll be mixing and shaping our breads as well as mixing, bulking, laminating, and rolling out our pastries at downtown Mesa. And of course, some of them will go into the walk-in fridge at Mesa for cold fermentation. Some will go into the proofer at Mesa for final proofing and be baked off. However, we'll also have this other layer now of items that, while they could go into the walk-in fridge in Mesa, they'll instead go onto a refrigerated truck, be brought over to this facility, and brought into the walk-in cooler here. From here, they'll be able to rest overnight. Bakers will come in the morning, grab them, and bring them up front to our old ovens and bake them off. Similarly, we'll load the proofer in the evening with pastries. Those pastries will be baked off fresh in the morning for our store here on Shea. This is a really neat facility. It's in an area of town where we have a lot of customers that have been built up over the years. It's 32nd Street in Shea. Basically, since we have the walk-in here, I designed most of the plumbing around these walls. And on this wall, we have basically the prep kitchen side. And this is a really interesting space for us because the size of it, it's a little bit bigger than our original two-car garage, and it's designed as an R&D space. And so we're going to be putting a flour mill right underneath that pretty large electrical disconnect right there. It's currently getting built in Vermont. We'll be putting our old garage mixing equipment here. We'll be purchasing another dough sheeter that goes in the middle, and then having some other baking equipment on the side. On the floor here, we'll have a couple extra baker's benches. The big deal though is flour. And so with this flour mill, we'll be milling our own grains. We'll be reviving the ancient grain program that we started about a year ago. So expect to see that buckwheat sourdough back on our menu, Coruscant sourdough. There's actually videos on how to make both of those, but the videos come from a little tabletop mill. So soon enough, in the near future, I'll be probably making some updates to that using a proper commercial mill. All that needs to be done here is rubber baseboards on the ground and epoxy flooring. So we do have to peel up some of this stuff that's here and then throw down a layer of epoxy flooring to seal the floor, and then we can start moving equipment in. This is a finished facility other than that. So it's exciting stuff. The way that this will all interact with our bakery will be really interesting. It's missing some pretty important components, the ovens. So let me show you where those go next. Yep. Chance of light rain in the next hour. This is not light to me, but. So we do pop-ups here at Shea. We're battling rain, although it's supposed to stop before we're even started. We have some strange tricks up our sleeve for the rain, like these rain gutters made out of tent walls. So you can tell that we've done these outdoor rainy events in the past. And interestingly, people come out and support us in the rain as well. I guess rain is not usually something that prevents people from eating or eating bread. Rather, maybe people think, oh, rainy day, bread, soup. So it works. All these products were baked off in downtown Mesa and brought over here, just like we do for our farmers markets, but soon we'll be baking from the building right behind. So we're now kind of standing in the front of the facility, and David's on his way to drop off actually a nearby farmers market, which is going to be run in the rain this morning unless the rain subsides. So hopefully the forecast pans out and rain goes away right as we start. We're used to it and used to doing what we need to do. These pop-up events have been awesome here and have given us a little bit of a taste of what it's going to be like to operate from this facility. Speaking of trucks, today's kind of an interesting day. I mentioned that the whole key of these facilities is a refrigerated truck. Well, this is our first truck that we bought. It probably got us a little bit in trouble back in the garage because we parked this in our driveway and it's not an RV, so it doesn't really belong in a residential neighborhood. It's a beautiful truck, we love it. It's not refrigerated, so it doesn't do cold fermentation of our doughs, meaning you really need finished product to transport in that truck. But what we need here is refrigerated transport. So actually, Amanda and I are flying in less than 2 hours to Michigan to pick up our refrigerated truck today. We're actually driving it across the country, and we'll see how that goes. So we just walked in the door of our retail facility in a couple months, maybe even less. Might be only 6 weeks away now. Customers will walk through that door and we'll have some tables here for seating. A big, large community table here, which is suitable to run classes in the future. Here will be a pastry case, so all this stuff is getting built up right now. Right behind will be bread racks, and behind that, in that back corner, will be our old bread oven from the garage. So we'll have our old rack oven around this corner. This space is pretty unique because if you come and grab bread and pastry from us, you could walk right outside the side door back to your car, or you could continue on this side. And this is all being built out to be a second location for our grocery concept, Main Street Harvest. So we'll be bringing in basically the local farmers market goods, all mostly Arizona food. We'll have coolers along this wall. And so you'll be able to kind of walk in through here and do your shopping, from produce to meats to prepared foods. We'll also have grain and flour available that we're milling ourselves. And this space is coming along nicely. Basically, in one more month, it will look a lot more like what it's gonna be, which is a retail bakery. So it's an exciting project. We're looking forward to moving in here very soon. The two units will work really close together. So I'm really looking forward to bringing back those garage ovens, the Italian deck oven that we have in the bakery in downtown Mesa. It's beautiful and it's nice to work on, but the one here is just, I don't know, maybe it's something about it being our first oven, nostalgia. We like operating it. It's gonna be nice to fire it back on again in this place.